Hey all you comic book fans, and thanks for tuning in to Do You Even Comic? Throughout the course of the blog, I will be posting articles, videos, and a little bit of artwork to educate those of you who are big fans of the movies and need a little bit more background information. Or those of you who are just starting out in comics and need a little bit more guidance. And even those of you who think it's actually quite appropriate to wear a Superman shirt to a Captain America the Winter Soldier movie premiere. I have been reading comics for about 10 years now, and I feel there is so much amazing material to dive into. But for right now, let's just start with the basics. In any business industry, there's obviously going to be rival companies that compete for your money. In the world of comics, there's actually quite a few companies that deliver the stories we read and see. But for the bulk of what we will be discussing, I am just going to stick to the two big companies, which is Marvel Comics and DC Comics. These companies own the rights to the superheroes and supporting characters you see on screen and on the pages of comic books. These companies hire the writers, artists, and editors to bring the characters to life. Marvel and DC have kind of like a Microsoft and Apple, Coca-Cola and Pepsi, Republicans versus Democrats type of relationship. They have incredibly dedicated fan bases, and these fan bases love to choose sides. Love to hate them or hate to love them, these two companies occupy the bulk of the comic industry, and they have been around for a very long time. So let's start talking about DC Comics. They are actually the first to release the superhero as we know them today. Which character, you might be asking? Well, it was actually Superman. He is the very first superhero. Back then, the company wasn't called DC Comics. They ran under the name National Allied Publications. DC earned its name after releasing the series entitled Detective Comics, where they get the D and the C from. That is the series that actually first revealed the character Batman. And after successful release of the Batman character, did he get his own comic series. So fast forward 75 years and you will find that the publishing company and its parent company, Warner Bros., are raking in billions of dollars a year with the newly rebooted series entitled as a whole The New 52, which is 52 comic series that were rebooted to keep up with modern times. And of course, their various television shows, movies, action figures, and other various types of licensing merchandise. Now let's get to my favorite, Marvel Comics. Like I said, we do choose sides here. This is one I'm certain you are all familiar with. They have done far better marketing in the past 10 years, and that is why I feel their popularity is ever expanding. Started as Timely Comics back in about the 40s, thereabouts, Marvel was slow to start, releasing characters that were not nearly as cool as, say, rival DC. In the early 1960s, comic writer Stan Lee was ready to quit the then almost failing business when he and artist Jack Kirby wrote and illustrated the Fantastic Four. And that series generated so much money that Stan Lee decided to stay, and he went on to become one of the most famous comic creators of all time, by then releasing fan favorites Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Avengers, the Hulk, and so on. Today, Marvel takes in a slightly bigger share of the comic market in comparison to DC, with Spider-Man still remaining as one of the top sellers. Although in recent years, thanks to the Marvel movies, characters that were, believe it or not, second-rate characters are now rising in popularity. Like, for instance, Iron Man, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Thor, and even Loki. So a question I get a lot is, which characters are Marvel and which characters are DC Comics? Good question. DC owns the rights to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, Green Lantern, Hawkman, Shazam, and all their supporting characters, villains, clones, and sidekicks. Marvel owns Spider-Man, all of the Avengers, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, Miss Marvel, S.H.I.E.L.D., etc. And of course, all of those guys' supporting characters, villains, clones, and sidekicks. And when you actually look at the characters, it makes a lot of sense who owns them. DC started in the 1930s, and their characters are a lot of Caucasian, mainly men, pretty boys with bulging biceps, and fabulous alter egos and careers. Marvel, on the other hand, writes a lot about family, the underdog, and in recent years, their characters have diversified immensely, and we are starting to see more of a balance of powerful male and female figures. Marvel tends to be more liberal in their writing, and DC tends to be a little bit more conservative. DC is evolutionary. They change with the times, and they try and grow and reach new audiences. While Marvel is more revolutionary, they thrive on groundbreaking storytelling with an added shock value. Of course, everyone knows only the best writers and artists get to work on projects for both companies. So there you have it. Two amazing companies with a lot to offer in terms of entertainment, art, and heroic inspiration. Thanks for watching, and now if you'll excuse me, I have to go destroy Jotunheim.